Hi, my name is Kim Mueller and I'm a fourth year PhD student here at the University of Michigan in Civil and Environmental Engineering. In this short video, I'll provide a brief overview of my research, which involves investigating carbon cycling between the Earth and the atmosphere using statistics. The bottom line is that we just don't know enough about the carbon cycle to make good policy decisions regarding climate change. Even at the global scales, questions still persist as to how natural sources and sinks of atmospheric CO2 will change from year to year. We base this knowledge mostly on the atmospheric measurements that we have, but they're very limited in time and space. So it's important for us to glean as much as possible out of the data that we have so that we can learn as much as we can about surface fluxes. That is, where they're located and what controls them at different spatial and temporal scales, so that basically we can build better predictive models. This is where statistics and my research comes in. Mainly, I use two geostatistical techniques to do this. In the first method, we apply a geostatistical regression algorithm using direct measurements of flux that represent approximately a 1 kilometer area along with other environmental data sets, such as precipitation, temperature, and leaf area index, at the University of Michigan Biological Station. The regression shows the statistical relationship between flux and the environmental data sets. We find that some of the statistical relationships are indeed temporally scale dependent, such as those variables that explain photosynthesis, while others are not, as in the case of respiration. With the second method, a geostatistical inversion is used to trace back variations seen within atmospheric measurements to surface fluxes using an atmospheric transport model. Using this method, we can also assimilate other data sets related to the carbon cycle, such as temperature. By doing so, the entire inversion model can be thought of as a large regression model. So in addition to identifying the spatial and temporal distribution of surface fluxes, we can also infer statistical relationships. We find that even with the sparseness of the atmospheric measurements, we are able to budget continental and regional sources and sinks of atmospheric CO2 well. This bodes well for using statistical methods in a policy framework, as it is shown to be the only practical means available to verify and monitor CO2 emission reductions, which is a vital component of international policy agreements. More importantly, these statistical methods are most useful for getting as much as we can out of the limited measurements that we have. And this is important so that we can improve our ability to predict natural carbon cycling, critical for protecting natural sinks that currently mitigate against the effects of climate change.